He took a shot that drew boos, a flag, and a whole lot of internet attention, and in the end, Adam Butler walked away without paying a fine. That little postscript is the quiet, strange ending to a story that had a louder moment. Rookie Shedeur Sanders getting his first real taste of NFL football while his house was reportedly being ransacked, and the Browns eking out a win in Las Vegas. Let's start with the on-field moment everyone replayed. Late in the third quarter, with the Browns already building a lead, Shedeur threw an incompletion to Jerry Jeudy. On the play, Raiders defensive tackle Adam Butler came in heavy on the hit, and the officials threw a 15-yard roughing the passer flag. Automatic first down, momentum swing, and, crucially, a route to potential league discipline. Under the NFL's fine structure, roughing the passer carries a pretty predictable penalty range, roughly 17 grand for a first offense, rising if you've been previously flagged. That's not pocket change for a single play, but after the league's week-by-week review, Butler escaped a fine entirely. No mail, no fine, just the memory and a replay loop for the internet. That's the surface drama. The deeper story is how that moment fit into a bigger narrative. A rookie QB making his first start, a team trying to claw out wins while the headlines chase the emotional side stories. Shedeur Sanders finished the game in Las Vegas, having completed 11 of 20 passes for 1 TD, 1 interception, and an 87.3 passer rating. Not flashy, not flawless. Probably exactly what you'd expect from a fifth-round rookie thrust into a starter's chair on short notice. The Browns converted a drive after the flag into a field goal and turned that into a 24-10 final. It was a practical win for a team that desperately needed a lift. A few things matter here beyond the choreography of one penalty call. First, the NFL is conservative with fines. It wants to send a message about player safety while also avoiding over-policing the game. Every week, the league's accountability office reviews tape, and sometimes a roughing call on the field becomes a non-fine after context is considered. Was the tackler's momentum unavoidable? Was there a shoulder-to-helmet concern that officials judged incidental? That review is why Butler's hit drew a flag in the moment, but not a fine later. Instant replay and post-game review are different prisms. One sees the chaos of a split-second collision, the other looks for culpability under a standard that has to hold up across the whole season. Second, penalties do more than cost money. They cost momentum, field position, and sometimes outcomes. For the Browns, that 15-yard gift kept a drive alive and pushed an already squeezed Raiders defense back on its heels. The Browns finished the drive with 3 points in a one-score game that could have been the difference. In this one, it helped solidify a 2-score margin. So even though Butler wasn't fined, the practical effect of the whistle mattered in real time. There's also the human subplot. Sanders wasn't just playing a game. He was handling a storm of headlines off the field. Earlier reports said his home had been burglarized during the game. A heartbreaking, distracting ordeal for any young player making his NFL debut. Add that personal trauma to the pressure of filling in for an injured starter, and you've got the kind of mental load that doesn't show up on a stat sheet. That makes a tidy wrap on the numbers feel a little thin. The final stat line is only part of the story. The Browns gave him enough support to close the game, and that matters for a team still figuring out its identity at 3-8. What this sequence also underscores is the league's balancing act. The NFL is in a quandary. Protect quarterbacks to preserve the sport's biggest investments while not turning every tackle into an off-field legal matter. Players are coached to wrap up and avoid cheap shots. Defenders are coached to finish. The league's disciplinary apparatus has to thread that needle, protect the player without turning the game into a clinic of over-chualized penalties. Butler's non-fine is an example of the league choosing to let a single hit be a game event, not a ledger item. Now think about the ripple effects for Las Vegas and Cleveland. For the Raiders, this was a rough stretch, a loss that continues to pile up in a season with too many L's. For Butler personally, the lack of fine is a reprieve. Fines are punitive and can alter a player's offseason planning. But there's a reputational cost too. Even if the league doesn't slap a fine, replay highlights and social media condemnation create pressure. Players end up defending themselves in headlines whether a fine follows or not. For Shedeur Sanders and the Browns, it's slightly different currency. A win in a noisy road environment, with the rookie starting and the starter sidelined, is valuable. It buys time for coaches to breathe and gives the locker room a small jolt of belief. It also puts Sanders on a very public apprenticeship ladder. Some throws were electric, others were errant. Some decisions were mature, others were rookie mistakes. The takeaway is simple. He's not polished yet, but he's not collapsing either. The team announced he would start the next game against the 49ers, even though Dillon Gabriel was cleared to play, and that tells you something about the staff's confidence in what they saw. There's one more dimension here: optics and fairness. Fans will always parse fines as evidence of bias. The league protects this team, or the league is soft on that player. But the truth is messier. It's a case-by-case, tape-by-tape calculus. What looks egregious in a short highlight can look incidental once you see the full angle. That's why NFL fans will always be annoyed when the league's follow-up decisions don't match the emotional verdict of replay loops and angry timelines. It's human nature to want the visible consequence to match the visible outrage. But institutional review works differently. It's slower. It's also designed to be more consistent across hundreds of similar plays. So what should you remember from this? First, a flag can change a game, regardless of whether the league elects to fine later. Second, post-game reviews don't always align with the heat of the moment call. Third, the narratives we attach to young players, burglaries, debut nerves, heroic throws, shape our read of their early careers far more than a one-time fine or non-fine ever will. Bottom line, Adam Butler escaped a fine, but he didn't escape the moment. The hit altered field position and gave the Browns a chance to pad a lead. The NFL's decision not to fine him diffuses one potential off-field storyline, but it can't erase the broader picture. A rookie quarterback weathering chaos on and off the field, a team clawing for wins, and a league still trying to find the right balance between protecting players and preserving the physical essence of the sport. If you're the Raiders, you keep playing, you keep coaching, and you hope those blown moments don't become chapters in a longer losing narrative. If you're the Browns, you let the rookie learn, you bottle the win, and you move on to bigger tests, starting with that 49ers matchup, where tape will answer a lot of questions that highlight reels only raise. NFL makes punishment decision on Shedeur Sanders incident. Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns improved to 3-8 by defeating the Las Vegas Raiders 24-10 in Week 12. The fifth-round rookie made his first career start, filling in for Dillon Gabriel, who has been ruled out due to a concussion. He had a decent game, completing 11 of 20 passes for 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and an 87.3 passer rating. He was also sacked once, resulting in a loss of 3 yards. On a 1st and 10 play with 53 seconds left in the third quarter, Sanders threw an incomplete pass to wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. However, instead of Cleveland facing a second down, Raiders defensive tackle Adam Butler was flagged for roughing the passer. The 15-yard penalty gave the Browns an automatic first down. By the end of the drive, they scored a field goal, giving them a 17-3 lead. Along with costing Las Vegas 15 yards, the flag meant Butler could receive additional punishment from the NFL. According to the league's rules guidelines, players can be fined $17,389 for roughing the passer, with the total increasing to $23,186 for a second offense in the same season.